Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Brad with StartRestoringHeadlights.com here. So here we have a 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Vehicle's in overall pretty good shape. However, you can see the headlights are pretty bad. Now this one I really wanted to document. You can see these tiny little micro cracks. So this is what occurs over time. When the polycarbonate expands and contracts, it can form these tiny little cracks. These are pretty small, so it's not going to cause any major issues. The only thing you'll see when it comes to microcracking is whenever the sunlight enters the crack, and it'll refract, and it'll cause like a hologram effect. Nothing that's going to really affect the light projecting out, but it is more like a cosmetic thing. You can kind of see it when the lights are on or whenever the sun's hitting it directly. You can see we got some microcracking right here, but overall it looks like crap. You can see all this oxidation here, so these are very, very fine. Now, when it comes to microcracking, you have the pane of the lens itself. Now, it can either be further back, deeper into the lens, or it can be on the surface. Some of these right here are on the surface. I can just tell, just from experience. However, some of these over here are much, much deeper. So, see this side, same thing. Now, this is actually a really cool thing. I don't know for sure if you can see it on the camera, but you can see this line right here. That is your old clear coat. So this right here is where it's pretty deteriorated, and then you have the old clear coat right here. So it's very, very important to make sure that all of it is thoroughly removed. And you can see some pretty bad scratching right here. We might be able to get that out. These kinds of cases, when you have this kind of severe oxidation right here and microcracks, it's best to start with a 320. However, you don't want to sand with the 320 too much on the top, because right here this is just a very, very thin layer of oxidation. So this I can do with the 600, but this down here I cannot. It's got to be done with the 320. Otherwise you'll be sanding for a long time. So I'll sand very, very lightly with the 320 on the top, or even not even sand it at all on the top. Just very, very light pressure if you're going to do the 320 to get it off very quickly, and then kind of more firm pressure on here on the bottom. So let's do it. So all the oxidation, all the old clear coat is removed. Just a little bit more over here on the top. So I have the 400 now. We're gonna use the 400 to remove all the scratches we made with the 320, and then we can move on to the 600. Alright, so the headlight is nice and smooth as far as the scratches go. I can actually feel the viscosity or how smooth it is whenever I'm sanding with the 400. So that's what I'm going to move on. One thing I did want to notate, sorry if it's super windy, you can see there's haze on the inside right here, which is a little notorious for some of these. Not often, but you can see it very, very faintly. But it's going to look better no matter what. So let's move on to the 600. So you can see the headlight is nice and milky. It's very, very smooth. One other thing that you can notice whenever you're sanding with the 600 is you can actually see the water stick to the lens as you're sanding. Anytime you are skeptical if you're ready to move on from the 600, just sand for an extra 5 minutes, because the longer you sand with the 600, the more clear it'll be whenever you spray it. So Alright, so the next step is drying it. Actually just came back from a job that I had to redo because I didn't thoroughly dry the stuff underneath the hood, and after I left, a little droplet fell down and got on the lens while it was still wet. Alright, so I'm going to blast any trapped water out and then also dry it. Crazy. Alright guys, so I'm going to be kind of quick just because the wind is absolutely nuts. So I got rubbing alcohol on a lint-free towel. I'm going to go ahead and sanitize the lens. Make sure there's no oil or residue from sanding. Just make sure that's nice and clean. Mask it off. Alright guys, so we're going to be applying the Next Gen Headlight Solutions Clear Coat. There's a $15 coupon in my bio. So you want to make sure it's nice and milky, no more oxidation, no more old clear coat. You want to shake the can for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then you want to apply it in strafes. We're just going to go left to right, about 4 to 5 inches from the lens, just one thick, even coat. I can say that when it comes time to do this process, the wind always goes absolutely crazy, so make sure that everything is taped up really, really well. As I said, right as I say that, the wind starts coming, so I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. I did a test script right here. You can see how it comes out. It's vertical, so you can just do nice even strafes with the 50% overlap. Now we're just going to So we are good with the 320. We're going to move on to the 400. You might have noticed I'm using different sandpaper. My order of sandpaper is taking forever to get here, so I had to stop and pick some up. Alright guys, same thing. Nice and dry. Alright guys, here's actually a really good example. So see how it's textured right there? This is what you inspect for after you spray. So that's mist. So watch as I go over it, it's gone. Always inspect for that, because if you miss that, that's where it's gonna start coming up that's where it's going to start. So it's going to pretty much cut the longevity of the clear coat in half. So always make sure you inspect after you spray. So all right, here's the finished product. You see we are nice and clean. You can still see the microcracking a little bit, especially right here on the side. But what I was talking about, and I doubt you can see it on the lens, but the hologramming effect, but there's the haze on the inside. It's also present over here. It's a little bit hard to see, but overall 10 times better. You might be wondering why I didn't pop the hood. This is a contactless service. Customer is doing it as a surprise for their fiance, I think, so all set.